Oh, I guess we're live. Well, who'd have thought it? That was fast and efficient. They didn't give me my 30-second countdown or anything. Well, welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are very excited to be here. Tonight is going to be a really cool night for those joining us. I am joined here with Michael Edwards from Terror in the Corn, all the way out in the middle of the United States, way out there in Colorado. Obviously, Corn, Colorado, hand in hand. And I have our friends Ty and Kim from Reaper's Revenge outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, one of the most legendary, literally legendary haunted trail and wagon trail and hay rides that you can check out. And tonight we are going to be talking about a really cool topic because I don't know if anybody noticed, but it's May 29th. And that means it's almost June, which means if you're not thinking about hiring staff and that process, you need to start pretty soon here because, guys, it's June. All right, that's month 6, and Halloween is month 10. We're close. All right. So I wanted to jump right in, and as always, these videos are always live on our Facebook page, so you can interact with us. We would love to see your comments, your questions as we go on. But remember, if you check out this video 2 weeks from now, you can always post in the comments. We see it and we can respond to you. So you can have a question a month from now and we'll still answer you, which is a really, really cool way to make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. And of course, that's what the Haunted Attraction Association is here for, is to help everybody do better, do more, do a lot more. So tonight is hiring and recruitment and onboarding and all of those, let's be honest, sometimes headaches of getting your attraction staffed. I know for a fact that since COVID, all of us have had ups and downs when it comes to staffing. What do you guys think? Since 2020, are we starting to see that we're cresting the hill where staffing is starting to be a little more possible finding people, or are we still scrounging for every person we can get?
Well, I know for us, it was really kind of a weird thing because going into and out of COVID was strange because before COVID, we actually had, I think, more problems hiring people. We didn't need as many people. We had 2 different attractions. It was kind of a weird challenge. Once we got into COVID, we actually started having more people starting to show up and want to work for us. And then coming out of COVID, as we started kind of creating the Fright Squad and trying to create a culture and a place where people wanted to come and work, every year for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, the number of people that are applying has increased just incredibly for us. It got to the point last year, usually we'd have 4 sets of auditions. And last year, by the time we were getting to the 3rd set of auditions, we were already ready to cancel the 4th set because we couldn't hire any more people. And that's with not hiring everybody that came out to audition.
Yeah.
We'd have 500 or 600 people applying.
That is such a good problem to have.
Yeah, it was crazy because people would come out and we'd ask them in the auditions, it's like, why do you want to come here? And a lot of it has been word of mouth of people hearing about how we treat our actors, how we treat our event staff, how we treat our security, and what we're building and growing here. And it's kind of caused just this rise of people wanting to come work for us. And it's got to the point this year that we're still going to have 3 sets of auditions, but we're not sure that we need it. That's been how it was for us. I don't know how it's been for everybody, but
yeah. Well, it seems like you're going through a renaissance. Ty, Kim, tell me a little bit about the Reaper's Pursuits. How's your staffing been? I think you might be muted. Can I unmute you? Yeah, I'm going to try to unmute you. You have no sound. Can you hear me?
No.
If you can hear me. We suck at technical. Can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you. Are you?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah, I will be honest, everybody. It wouldn't be a monthly mixer without some level of technical difficulties. We are absolute amateurs when it comes to this medium, but we're learning every time. They were talking. I did have them a minute ago. Settings. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want to try to go out and come back in? Maybe that will work. Sorry, all of you watching at home. We're trying our best, but you know how it is. So I can tell you a little bit about Pennhurst. Pennhurst has been very consistent with our returning staff. We're pretty stable. But last year was the first year since COVID that we had I feel that we had an adequate number of people come out. It was really nice to have, like, we have enough staff. So the goal now is to make sure that the re-onboarding and all that stuff is good for them. You know what I mean? So we get all of them back. Like, that's a huge thing.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can.
We hear you.
Well, to answer the question about COVID. COVID, when we were deciding whether we were going to open or not because of the big scare and everything like that, we were a little bit worried about that. But I think with being adaptable, and I'll never forget Paul yelling at us, the owner of Reaper's Revenge, go down to Pennhurst, see what they're doing, and we kind of stole a little page out of Pennhurst's book and came up with programs and tried to make it to where, just like you guys out there, everybody wants to work, and it's hard to tell a lot of people that we're full, just stay in our actor pool and we'll go from there. But yeah, it got so bad there that we brought Kim on about 5 years ago.
I'll be there 7 years now.
Yeah, don't say 7. And just between me and her, we'll spend all summer hiring and going through all the onboarding, checking the backgrounds and all that stuff. Anywhere like, turning the core up to 500, 600 people.
But we have a really good problem though now to have, because we have so many of our actors that return to us that we don't have as many openings to fill anymore because we have so many that want to come back to us, which is wonderful. So
having great off-season programs and programs that are designed to keep them coming back. I mean, we're always looking for new ways to try to get our veteran actors, bringing in new people, because let's face it, you can go through 1,000 applications and they'll all look like one other, but it's best when we have our not our hiring days, but our actor clinics and stuff like that. They bring them there and they see the fun, and it becomes infectious, and next thing you know, they're hooked.
Nice. And I've said before, and I truly believe this, that one of the most important hiring days that you have every year is your cast party at the end of the season.
Yep.
I believe you garner more returning people by having that acknowledgement, because even if you're just you're trying your best, or you're learning the best practices, Haunt, if you give them that ignite, the last experience they have with you as an employee for the year is a party where you're acknowledging their hard work, your chances of bringing them back are a lot higher. Like, just point blank. Let if that's going to be the last experience they have before you post up on your Facebook page, hey guys, come back, that's a good thing. But the off-season stuff is huge as well. That constant team building, that constant reminder. And a lot of haunts are kind of getting away because they do a Valentine's event, they do a St. Patty's event, they do a halfway to Halloween, and next thing you know, it's Halloween and one barbecue in the middle of the summer, and you've kept your crew engaged all year long, and you're still, pedaling and making, running events, which is fantastic.
It's great too, because you can just call up at a notice. Like if I wanted right now, if I wanted 100 people to come up on the mountain and help clear stone and brush or whatever, I would have 150 people there. It gets to the point where, okay, we're too many people for helping out.
I need 10 people. That's it.
So we get that issue too. We have a lot of folks that call up, what do you guys need help? Do you need stuff with this? And it's like, well, okay, we're working on some road base this week, and we'll bring a few people in to help us. But talking about doing stuff during the off season, like we do a lot of that too. While we don't actually have any off season shows, we're open for the season and that's it. But pretty much from the time that we get past our cast party, we have at least a couple of events for our actors a month. Every last Friday of the month, we have an improv class. and people like show up for that. Like the first year we did it, we'd have maybe 12 people show up, and now we've got like 40, 50, 60 people showing up for these improv classes every last Friday of the month. And we'll have movie nights. We just had a goth night where, like, just come as your best. It was they called it something else. It wasn't goth. It was like a raven. What was it? Yeah, it was a crow. It was a crow night. You had to bring shiny baubles. It was kind of weird. I mean, I was kind of old to be
wrong crow, bud.
But
Why isn't she in the video?
But it was a lot of fun, and we encourage folks to bring their friends, bring spouse, bring so that they can see what we're doing, and kind of for lack of a better way to put it, how much fun we are to be around and how much fun we are to work with, and so we're recruiting like that really throughout the year. And it's just worked great for us. I mean, we have like an 80% return every year out of like 250 people. About 80% come back, but we keep shooting ourselves in the foot because we go, okay, we don't have to hire as many people this year. No, we're going to make the haunt bigger. So now we suddenly need 12 more actors. And so it's every year. It's like, yeah, we still need to hire 30, 40, 50 people because it's growing so much.
Yeah.
What I found a lot of the problems that we have when it comes to hiring is we have this big push. We have all the actors we need. We have our what we call as the herd or actor pool for once the show starts getting going. Is for the new hires, it's very important to link them up with the veterans because
yes,
they have no idea what's going on in that first weekend. If you guys do anything like we do, they always have the special come on Friday for half price or whatever. And next thing you know, you're bombarded with completely too many customers and they're not ready for it. So these kids are like, oh, this is kind of overwhelming. So one, having a great group of your veterans that can lead and take these guys and show them the rings and stuff like that. Because we used to have the problem of first weekend, we would lose anywhere from 10 to 20% of the new people coming in because it is strenuous on your body. If you don't know how to do your voice and you don't know how to do all those different things, they're done. And especially up here in Pennsylvania, you get that cold rain. Mm-hmm. If I get a cold rain on Friday, I already know I'm going to have about 20% calling off on Saturday. So it becomes very challenging to keep that pool of actors up.
See, we used to have that problem, and actually, I've had that problem at other haunts. Whoops, as my phone slips. I've had problems like that at pretty much every haunt I've ever worked at. And the first few years at Terror, it was the same thing. First 2 weekends, we start losing a bunch of people, but we'll still lose a couple, but not like we used to. Because when we're going through our auditions, and even once we hire people and we're going into training, while it's not the same as experiencing it, we do our best to explain, like, you think that, oh my God, this is going to be fun. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. And then you get in there and do it and go, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And we try to get that through to people that it's not as easy as you think. It's fun, but it will tear you up. It will beat you down, whether it's customers, whatever it is you're dealing with. And so we try to drum that into their heads. And we've noticed that we'll still lose a couple, but we lose a lot less people than we used to because we really focus on that a lot. And then at training, we're teaming them up with, our veterans and stuff, and they kind of talk with them a little bit too. And then once we hit our dress rehearsal, we'll go through the haunt and act like, jerks and to try to show them what they're going to have to deal with. And then this last year for our opening night, we actually had a company buy out the Anderson Farms, like for that evening. And so we actually had we knew how many people we would have, but it was a pretty good crowd. And so they got kind of a trial by fire, and it's been great. I mean, we have not lost the number of people that we used to because we're trying to teach them and show them.
Yeah.
Well, we would open up our rehearsal nights. We call them our golden ticket nights for friends and family. And we've been using it also as a marketing tool for giving so many to our radio stations and let them pass them out, giving them all to our different influencers and we invite them to come up on our golden ticket night. And it used to be where we'd only have about 100 to 200 people show up, but now it's gotten to be quite big. So it's getting a little bit more customers in front of the actors. And then,
right.
And then having your junior leadership, what we call our LIT program, is making sure that they go around and you got that one kid that's screaming at the top of his lungs and he's only got about an hour of that. pull him back, pull him down, train him how to do the right kind of screams and pace himself. Hey,
Yep.
we got 99 more wagons to go. Don't burn it on the first wagon.
I think both of these characteristics lend itself very much from the idea of just being very transparent with these new hires.
Yeah.
Let them know exactly what you feel are going to be the hurdles that they might see. You know what they are. Every time you lose a worker, you know why you lost them. So be transparent with these new workers. Like, hey, you might lose your voice the first weekend, and that's scary. It'll be back by Wednesday. You're good to come back Friday. Like coach them through a little bit, or let me focus on the acting training, and now you're not going to lose your voice because we taught you how to do it. I think transparency is huge with maintaining staff so you don't have them drop out. The other thing is just making sure that when you bring your staff in, they know what's coming down the pipe. You know what I mean? So it's enough for the staff's going to talk. They're going to tell their war stories, this, that, and the other. But you, leadership and ownership, they can get in front of these people and say, hey, go out there and do your best tonight. It's going to be a little busy tonight, and this is what you're going to experience. And I was there 20 years ago. I was there 15 years ago. I was there 3 months ago. I don't know what your standard is, but let them know that you were where they are and that you believe in them. Like, I believe you can do this. That's why we hired you.
Right.
You give them that little confidence boost, and all of a sudden they're getting through on fumes, but they're getting through. So it's always good.
Nothing could prepare them for sometimes. So you just got to, like you said, is be transparent, hold their hands, and the whole kind of answers one of the little questions that Chuck Morrison had there about the questions is like Jim said, is being upfront in that interview process and saying, hey, this is going to be the funnest job you'll ever have, but it's work, and we're going to train you. So don't worry about, whether you have acting skills or not. We're going to take it. And what we found is some of the most quietest people turn out to be some of the best actors. So you got to ask the right questions in the interview process. You got to stay away from some of those key topics that Jim talked about us earlier. Like, each state is different on what you can ask.
Specific employee questionnaires are state-based, and you can literally search your state Department of Labor and find out what you can and cannot ask in an interview. But for the artistic side of things, there's actually few things that you can ask. I can't think of any off the top of my head when I'm inquiring, hey, do you know how to be a serial killer? I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to go down that road pretty far before I've crossed the line. It's much different when I'm asking, well, do you have any allergies? Do you have any medical conditions? Suddenly now we're asking things that are not about the performance, they're about the worker, and that starts blending those lines up a little bit.
Yeah, we have those questions too, but one of the biggest questions that we've asked, first off, is why do you want to do there? And the number one reason we always get people when they say that is, oh, I love to scare and I love to do those things. And
Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Halloween's my favorite holiday. And I always respond to that. And you're willing to give it up?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing at a haunted house. You are giving up your Halloween. Like,
our employees know that Halloween is an off topic. You better show up. Well, we build things into our programs too, is cast parties and our loyalty program, and all those things are designed to get the actor in your haunt and stuff like that. And if they decide that they're going to go to Billy Joe Jim Bob's Halloween party, we know about it and we can address it and deal with it way before it even happens and stuff like that. But some of the other questions that we always ask is, can you make a scary noise? Or, what is your biggest, tell me a scary story that you scared somebody, and it's just designed to get them opening up. And before you know it, they're giving you all the information you need to have in an interview. Okay, they really like goth, or, whatever the case may be, but just getting them talking. And any evaluation of personnel, you can spend 5 minutes with somebody and know where you want to put them and where you're going to go with them. And it's just getting them on down that road.
And I will say, just from coming from multiple sides of HR, the HR hiring of haunt workers to me is the funnest in the world. It really is, because whereas when I'm hiring for corporate or for security or any of those type of things, I have very specific things I have to care about. Whereas with the haunted house, when I'm interviewing an employee, one of my biggest objectives is finding out what they like. I want to know what they're into, what their hobbies are, what's your interest. Do you write fan fiction, or do you do Jeet Kune Do? Do you do I hike for a living? Like, I want to know your hobbies, because your hobbies tell me everything about where I can put you. You know, I had he was a college baseball player. He was in college. He was playing college baseball. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, that means you're in shape. And I literally said it out loud. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty in shape. We put him in the jump rig. And my dude could jump. Funnest job. He said it was the funnest job he's ever had in his entire life. And he would jump from the time we opened to the time we closed. Just boom, 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 boom. I would die 5 minutes into that. I would just go, oh, this is it. I'm coming home. It would be over.
Last year, we had a whole college baseball team to show up. They were supposed to go to parking, but they kind of ended up in an actor. And we were getting in trouble from the coach because we promised we'd have them done by Sunday by 10 o'clock. Didn't happen. Those guys were ready to keep on acting.
And they loved it. They loved it. Yeah. They were clowns and they loved it.
Yeah. You find out what these people enjoy, and then if you can tailor to that, you have a lifetime employee. One of our workers came in and we asked them about their likes, and they're like, well, I've been playing concert violin since I was like 4. We're talking through 2 decades of concert violin. And we're like, could you do it in a dark environment? And they're like, yeah, sure as shit. They're down in our morgue playing a live violin in scene. And it was like terrifying, because you definitely don't expect it, because but once again, you find these great employees by investing yourself and learning about them. That's what the interview process is. And Haunts let us actually invest in, well, who are you? Tell me who you are. I don't need to tell you what I need. I need you to tell me who you are. Once I know who you are and what you're passionate about, then I can, oh, you know what? Perfect. You'll go right here, because we know where you fit, and that's a good thing.
Staff, I think, sometimes than for the acting. Well, because once people get a taste of what they're having up there, because I always tell everybody when you cross our parking lot and come into here, you're not a mom, you're not a husband, you don't have kids, you're here to have fun, and we're going to let you have fun. So all those worries and cares and dramas and stuff like that. So Parkers start to migrate to the actors. You got security wanting to do acting while they're in the security. It's hard to find the staff and those.
I was supposed to be staff, and I ended up on the hayride as a witch on the mountain my first year. I don't know how the heck that happened. I was just supposed to take tickets or something, and next thing I know, I'm climbing on wagons in full.
Her 17-year-old son was wanting to come up there and work, and he wasn't driving, so she would have to wait for him. And next thing you know, that's the wrong thing to do, is have a mom or a father sitting right there waiting. No, come with me.
That's how it started.
Some of our best actors have come out from that, when we just grab mom and dad and come and do it. We have a 74.
I'm not telling you how old she is. She'll kill me.
She's over 70, put it that way. If she's watching, sorry.
I'm not saying that.
We have from age ranges all the way on up to in the 70s.
She's in her 70s.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I'm in trouble. Oh gosh.
All right. Well, let me ask now. So we're talking about we get them in the door, but I think we skipped the step on how do we get them in the door. So we have these new hires. What has worked for you guys on getting people to show up to your audition? What has been the most most time honored or the newest thing? What's the shiniest trick you guys are pulling out of the bag?
Well, plug in for Scython. That's the program that we use. And
Scython.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. That sounds like an official pitch. Hold on. Scython.
There we go.
Simplified Active Management for your haunt.
Scheduler. We've used all the things like this. Justin from Scython, and I'm not doing this as a plug. When I explained to him the technical problems that we have of being a linear haunt and how we do our different things, he's been right there, and he's been able to modify things and help it to where that program is very tailored for us now, and he'll tailor it and help you guys out in the best way you can. So, yeah, I've used a lot of programs to get us to that point. And Scython so far has been the best.
And just because our great friends at Scython are so great, and Justin is so wonderful, he actually gave us a code. It's HAA15, which if you're watching tonight and you want to try out Scython, number one, you get a 30-day risk-free trial. So it's not going to cost you anything to check it out. But if you do decide to book and you're an HAA member, you can use code HAA15 to get 15% off your year. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, we found them. It was like 4 years ago at the trade show, and the program was very base at the level, and then I just started bombarding him with questions, and he's like, "There's more to this than I need to do." And next thing you know, he started writing more, doing more different things. So it's a great program. We're going to use it again this year.
Yep, we're loving it too. As far as for us for hiring, as far as getting people in, it's hard to say what's working and what's not working. But for us, a lot of it tends to be more word of mouth. I mean, we'll sit there and we'll use social media. Like this year, we're already working on a couple of new videos, and we try to do something a little different. I think Jim, you saw the video we did a year or two ago, which was like just kind of the little quick interviews with our actors, and that went over really well. But as much as we get that out there, through Facebook and through Instagram, and this year we're going to start using a little bit more TikTok. Really, honestly, the majority of it has just been the word of mouth, and that's one of the things that I try to stress, and we've talked about in our classes, is to get people to come out and want to work at your haunt. They've got to know that there's a culture there where they're going to be respected, where they're going to have fun, where they're going to be taken care of. And a lot of us that work there, Kavina, Michael Kavina. Oh my God, I should not drink before I start these things. Michael Kaniva, he's worked really hard to structure the things that we're doing with Fright Club that Bart started, so that people are hearing about the way we're treating people. And like me, I come from the corporate world originally, where you'd always hear, oh, our people are our assets and they're the most important asset kind of thing, but it was always lip service. And for us, it's not. When people come to work for us, you have to earn your way in, and you have to earn your way to stay there too. Every year, there's no guarantee you're coming back. I mean, you have to meet a certain criteria to actually be invited back. But that culture that we've created has just caused people to gravitate to us. And again, I'd like to say, do radio ads, do this, do that. I think honestly, word of mouth is the number one thing, and it all starts with what you do at home, what you do at your home haunt, and make sure that people are hearing about it. And that's your actors. They get out there and they're telling people, yeah, you should come work here, you should come work here, and that's where we get probably the majority of our people.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll see some of our actors in the summertime, July, and their coat with all their patches and awards and stuff like that. And it's 90 degrees, and they're dying on it, but they are not taking that jacket off for nothing.
Nope.
So.
They're walking billboards for us.
Yeah, they're proud of where they work, and they feel that they've earned their place, and they've earned their place to be back. And I always say that good people attract good people. So when one of your good workers says, "Hey, I have these two buddies," they're worth a look. Because if this person's a good worker, typically they surround themselves with like-minded people. That's kind of how friend groups work. Not always. Everybody has that brother.
Well, here's the thing on that with what you're saying, Jim, is what we found out is the cost to hire, onboard, background checks, and all that stuff. It started being repetitive, and we're starting. We didn't have when we first started. We were like, maybe 30% return on our actors and stuff like that. So that other 70% became a problem of trying to replace that. And then some of that 30% that we actually had sometimes was not of the best quality caliber. I mean, the stories of Travis, when we first started in running our HR, when we were short people, he used to take a van down the mall and just basically throw people in the van and here coming up and work. Well, we've kind of gotten away from that, which is good, because I think the caliber of actors we have and people applying is so much more than what it was. And when you have that high caliber of people that are involved in the schools, high schools, and in the colleges and the community, you get those people, they're going to naturally draw better people into that, which is ultimately going to save you money. So having a strong hiring, recruiting, off-season plans, whatever like that, that will save you a lot of money if you're doing it right. Because if not, you're going to have to chase that dragon.
Yep. And it works like you're saying, even for your return actors, because again, going back and mentioning Michael Kaniva, is, he's put together this system for these last couple of years that is used by all of our zone leads. It's used by our house managers. When we're open, everyone's being watched and, not scrutinized, but watched to see, what their attitude is. Are they showing up on time? Are they showing up at all? What's the energy level? Are they following rules? Are they taking instruction? And we literally, everybody gets points. And at the end of the year, Kaniva goes through all of that, and you have to hit a certain point level to be invited back, because we don't need it.
We want guy for Reapers.
Yeah, and what that's done for
You're
us,
late.
That's helped
you got
us.
2 steps, sorry.
Yeah, that's helped us keep. I don't want to say the better people, but you have the people that want to cause drama. You got the people that don't really want to work. The people that don't necessarily didn't want to give their all, but don't want to give anything. And or just don't get it, or maybe it's not for them. And
well, I don't want to say that bad people, and labeling is probably the wrong thing to do. But
right.
You don't want somebody, a mom showing up with their kids as a customer and realize, oh, hey, wasn't that guy on the news for beating his girlfriend or something like that? You don't want those kind of people working for you.
Oh well, no.
So having a good interview process, a good system that gets as many different of the managers in front of this people, seeing them and knowing those problems before they're problems is probably the best way to do it. So, okay, you can, this is the best friend of that one person. Well, maybe he should not be in the limelight. Maybe he should be back there washing dishes or whatever, behind the scenes type deal, kind of thing. So at least he's still involved, and you're involving different people for different ways.
Yeah. You play to their strengths. I've never lost out playing to people's strengths. I've always have viewed any person that I hire as my own personal responsibility. If I say, hey, you're hired, welcome aboard, you are now my responsibility. At the end of the day, I'm the one who said you're hired. But I also believe that in doing my best for them and finding a way for them to be successful, sometimes, and this has been said before, and I gravitate to it, sometimes the best thing I can do for someone's success is to say, you need to go down the road. This isn't for you.
Yeah. Because
it's not for everybody.
Well, I would like to touch on that, because Travis, always one of the owners of Reapers, tells this story, and it's a hilarious story. I took over one of the attractions, our dark attraction, and Travis comes up to me and he's like, I need your help. I'm like, what now? He's like, I need you to find a spot for this guy. I'm like, okay, give me the stories. Well, he's been to our actor clinics like 3 different times, and he's not really actor material, whatever. I said, okay. And he's like, well, I gave him a ticket to come see us, and he put it in his wallet. And each year he showed Travis the ticket. Hey, I still got that ticket. But I pulled him in, I brought him in, took him on our wing, and before you knew it, after that first night, that kid turned into be one of the best actors. And you'll see him up at Reapers. This guy does everything. He does our Mad Hatter. He does. And he's a little bit over maybe on the spectrum side. And just having a great hiring program and not limiting it because you see somebody and say, oh, he may not be able to do that, or she may not be able to do that. Whether from being handicapped, whatever the case you need, give them a chance. Show them that you're invested in them. They will work themselves. I had one of my actors was leaving in an ambulance saying, don't worry, Ty, I'll be back. I'm like, now go get yourself fixed first.
Yeah, we watch a lot of that too, because we'll have actors that we find that maybe aren't really strong in a certain area. And we certainly don't ever go, okay, well, bye. We don't do that. I mean, we will move people to another area, and 9 times out of 10, we'll find that person's strength because we want to cultivate them. We want them to grow, and we want them not only to help us put on a good show, but we want them to have fun doing it, even though it's incredibly hard and incredibly tiring. One of the things I used to say in the corporate world is, if you're not having fun at this job, don't do it. So no matter how hard it is, if you're not having fun, why do it?
Yeah.
So our number one goal is for them to have fun, and then that fun translate to what our audiences are going to experience as they're going through.
I love the Misfits. They're the most fun people you can take, and ones that maybe not fit the typical actor in a play or whatever. But look for those Misfits, because before you know it, those Misfits will band together and they will create a group for you that you will not believe. Even though if I get hi like 50,000 times in a day, I'm like, okay, hi. But it's definitely worth it. She's laughing because she knows who I'm talking about.
Well, and that's one of those things that you're building an experience. Obviously, our job is to build an experience for our customers, but our staff gets an equal level of experience. They get culture, they get a sense of belonging, they get a sense of fulfillment. For some of our staff, it may be the first time ever that they were given an opportunity to fit in or belong. Pennhurst has an extensive history of hiring off the beaten path. We have an everybody at the table rule, which means that if somebody's willing to grace us with their time to apply, we're going to see if there's a way we can incorporate them into what we're doing. So we do practice a lot of inclusion. That's a big thing for us. And it has allowed us to have some of the most interesting, unique, and powerful actors that you could ever want. I mean, these are people that once they've mastered their craft, they have mastered their craft. So when we're hiring, though, what are some of the personality traits that, we're talking about, the pros and cons and trying to weed through who's the best candidate, but what are those personality traits that jump out the most to you guys? What grabs you immediately? Like, this is somebody I want.
And
Probably go ahead.
Yeah. The energy if you get somebody going, hey, hi, I'm Ty from Reaper's Bend. We're talking about your, no, I already know. We're not going to go there, but oh my God, I can't believe you called me back. All right, you're going to be one of those. Good. We can go from there. And just making sure that they have the energy, because that energy is what's going to get them through the night.
I look for flexibility. I look for anybody, and I'm not talking physical flexibility.
Well, that too. But
if they're willing to, for example, if they'll say, I'll go wherever you want me to go. I'll do, nothing is beneath me. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll learn whatever you want me to learn. You want me to go up to the carnival one day, or you want me to go to the parking lot the next day? I'll do whatever is best and wherever you need me. That is somebody that is, in my mind, irreplaceable. Because
Absolutely.
it's too hard to find people who are willing to do what we need them to do versus what they want to do.
Yeah, our carnival is very taxing,
so
and we have a lot of drop off.
When you find somebody who is willing to do what is needed versus what they want, I don't like to ask anybody, so what do you want to do?
What's your dog doing?
Sorry, my dog is back here thinking that she owns everything. That's why she's doing this thing. She's 17 and very sassy, so she can kind of do whatever she wants to do. But getting back to that, when you find somebody who is kind of just willing to put their needs or their wants aside and do whatever is asked of them to do, and to learn something new, even if it's something that they may not have thought that they were capable of doing or that they would be asked to do, that is a person that in my book jumps to the front of the line for me, because I don't have to be afraid of asking them to do something that may be outside of their skill set, and say, hey, would you consider doing this tonight? And they're willing to do it. That to me is somebody that I look for personally when I'm interviewing.
I know when we're actually going through the audition process, because sometimes we'll pick that up from people a little bit later. We won't necessarily see that at the audition, because when we audition, we'll generally audition anywhere from 5 to 10 people at a time for about a half an hour. And generally what we look for, because we'll point out to them, one of my things that I used to say years ago was that to be a good scare actor, you have to be a great actor. You just have to be willing to look stupid. And I try to tell them that going in, because we're going to have them do some little exercises. And we look for people that can take direction, that listen to what we're saying to them. Because you can tell when people are sitting there and they're paying attention to you or they're not. We also look for people when we throw these little kind of improv things out of them to act like something, because we'll throw some weird things out. I mean, Knievel will stand there and go, okay, show me be turmoil, and it's like the people that just stand there and do nothing maybe don't gravitate to us as much. But the people that like they have no idea what to do, but they do something. They do something, whether it fits or not, the fact that they don't hesitate to do something. And when we see that, that usually tells us something. And not that they're willing to look stupid, not that they're willing, but the fact that they're willing to think and do, and their imagination is working. And that's a big thing that we look for when we're talking to people.
Well, we used to do our auditions, and I've been trying to get them, rest of the managers, to get away from the auditions and calling it auditions and putting that person in front of 14 different managers and putting them on there, because I think that puts a little bit too much stress on that person, and you may not be able to see all the talents that they have.
True.
So kind of like what you're going with there, I always tell them is, by the time Reapers is done, you're going to be that great actor, like, Johnny Depp. Okay, well, we don't need you to start at Johnny Depp. We want you down here at Amber Heard level. So that's how we start you. So if we can find those people that are just, I made a living out of watching those auditions, and the managers, they take that one. Yes, I was an actor at Juilliard and all these other. No, I want to find that quiet one, because sometimes that quiet one, and you give them a little bit of pat on the back, a little bit of guidance and direction, they will turn for you, and next thing you know, you just created a monster.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that's what I like about the way that we do our audition, structuring it where we'll generally talk to like 5 to 10 people, because one thing, it puts them a little bit more at ease. If they see everybody else doing, because we don't have just one person doing something, we'll have them all doing it together. And so that puts them a little bit at ease. But then even before they come in, we have some of our best and most personal people outside helping them fill out paperwork, answering questions and things. And like my wife will be out there, Sally, she'll be out there. We have a couple of actors, Phil and May and Sophie. They're all out there, and they talk to these folks. And a lot of people ask, well, what are they looking for? What are they looking for? And they'll kind of fill them in a little bit. But they talk to them and they tell them what the experience is about, and they make them feel very comfortable and very welcome before they actually come inside. We're
all saying the same thing. The bottom line really for interviewing process is just to be there and listen and see what they're trying to tell you. Try to ask the right questions. And even if you ask the wrong questions, having that one-on-one personal interaction with you and that person, I know it goes a long way, because I'm not in charge of the attractions anymore. An attraction anymore. I've moved up. I have just too many things on my plate. But the interview people that I did, they'll see me at the end of the night at the bonfire, and they want to come. They want to tell me about their whole night and everything like that. And that's when you know you've reached that person and you've got to them, and you're going to get whatever you want out of them. So
absolutely,
just being personal with them.
And then I know one thing for me is when I'm sitting across from a new hire, potential new hire, I know that you only have a couple minutes. So I've always boiled it down to the ideas of, number one, are they talkable? Is it somebody that can communicate? Can they talk back and forth? Or are they just yes, no, yeah? You have to be able to communicate, not a chatterbox, but communication, talkability. Yeah. Then you pick what you do it should be the same for everybody, but there needs to be some measurement of ingrained talent. Do they possess talent? Can they do voices? Can they recite? Can they memorize lines? Can they contort? Can they scream at 50 million decibels? What's their talent level? And then finally, the most important thing is, are they teachable? And the great thing about those three things can be learned from a person in 15 minutes. It doesn't take long to retain those things.
Whoever's doing the interviewing, if they're having a bad day, don't do the interview, because you need to be going into that high energy. You need to match their energy in a little bit, because it's infectious. Because if I talk to them like this, they're going to respond like this. But if I'm like, hey, how we doing? You ready to come up here and come and work? Let's go. They're going to be natural.
They will mirror. Yep, they will mirror.
If somebody's yelling at you, I just got to go take a walk and then come back and do it.
Hey, I don't yell at you.
I guess the one good thing about most of us that are, because there's about 5 of us that'll sit in on the auditions, and all of us are actors. So even if we've had a bad day, I guarantee nobody will know that we've had a bad day.
Yeah.
Because we will put that out there, and our energy level will be there. And yeah, we like the audition to be really high energy like that too. Because again, it makes it more fun and puts everybody at ease, and we can really see what they're doing.
Cool.
And reach out to them, go from there.
Yeah. Mixing in remember, I know actors are always the core of who we're hiring. They always seem to be the hardest people to hire, but let's not forget the importance of our front of house staff, our tickets, our makeup, our costumes, our line entertainers, security, safety, greeters, merch crew. All of those staff positions need to be filled as well. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, I'm not looking for the same level of energy from a security personnel as I am from my acting crew. Like, I really feel like there's a delineation between the two. Mm-hmm. What are some, other than just being plaintive that, hey, you're applying for a security job, let's talk security, or hey, you're applying for tickets, let's talk tickets. What are some things that you guys have put into play to kind of draw that? Once again, we're all crew, we're all part of the haunt, but your actors tend to get that big shiny disco ball treatment. How do we make these other workers feel just as important?
Well, for us, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll be quick. I'll be quick. For us,
each one of our departments.
And Mike was talking. I don't know if there's a delay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you go. I talk too much anyway.
Do I need to have a stick? I'll give you guys a stick you can hold up.
It's a laser pointer. Just point at one of us.
I'll just do this. There we
go. For us, primarily, I mean, as far as the hiring part, I mean, we have a security manager, and he does all that hiring and so forth. But as far as when I talked about earlier, the Fright Squad that we have, that is not just our actors. That is our event staff. That is our security. We include all of them in there. They're at the cast parties. They're invited to come to all the events that we have. It's not an us and them in any way, shape, or form, and we don't treat them that way. They all come down there when we're doing our big hurrah before we're open. A lot of them stay afterwards, and they sit with us for our big after thing that we'll sit around for 45 minutes and eat and talk about how the night went. The biggest thing that we do for them is include them. And make them understand that they are a part of this whole Fright Squad initiative, for lack of a better term, that we've put together. And so it's not like, oh, the actors, oh, these guys, oh, these, we're all part of this one big group. And we make them feel included. And that has gone a long way to, for one thing, working together.
Sometimes it really is, because some of the groups, they get so tight-knit, not to, it's gotten so much better, but used to be the tractor drivers would always hang out in one area, parking would go in one area, makeup would be another, like that. So trying to get them involved into everything sometimes is very challenging. But like you said, as long as you get them all together, our bonfires at the end of the night, that seems to be the rally call, and go from there. And we give an actor award, we give security awards.
We do.
It may not be anything, but we do. With our loyalty program, I don't want to get too much into that, but basically every time they're rewarded with that, they're given a lottery ticket for the end of the year party. We have great prizes, so everybody's trying to work, and referrals go into that, you name it. So we're trying to do everything we can to get everybody into one thing. Because I know when I started off as a tractor driver, I didn't even know what a bonfire was or anything like that, until I'm like, what's all that noise coming out from over there? So yeah, it's hard to get them included because they do become such tight-knit groups.
Yeah, I know that at the end of the night, when everybody gets together and we eat and we talk about everything that kind of went on throughout the night, something that we didn't do when I first started, and I started noticing we didn't, is we would talk about how everything went for the actors. And, oh, did you ever get scared? Did you ever whatever? And we get to tell some stories. And I started noticing, we never really talk about security, or now that we have an event staff, which event staff for us is a new thing for the last couple of years. So now I try to make sure that at the end of the night, if nothing else, I make sure that everybody, security did great tonight. Let's give it up for security and get everybody to applaud for them. Man, the event staff, you guys did a fantastic job. You got those people in, you got them through. And, and so I make sure that everybody's applauding everybody and that they don't get left out. And all we focus on is the actors. And I know Kniva runs most of that at the end of the night now, and he and I have talked about that a few times to try to make sure that we include everybody in, I guess, the congratulations for a night well spent.
Yeah,
but
acknowledgement.
back to the original question, Jim. It's very hard for some of those positions. I mean, I came back from a military background, so the security portion of that becomes very simple for me to ask the right questions and say, okay, what do they know? How we're going to go about business and stuff like that. But the hard part when it comes to, like, just say the security, he might answer all the right questions of, okay, yes, he knows how to do a triangle, how, where he posts up and all these different things, but how he reacts with the crowd. So one of the key things that you have to talk to, like when you're talking parking, you tell the parkers, okay, when you're doing, you are the first thing that our customers see. And if you're looking like, rag bag, whatever, so we're going to build you up and we're going to try to tractor drivers. We know, okay, you're the most important people we have on here, not the actors, because if your timing is off, everything's off. All these different things. So you got to know how to talk to each different department.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do makeup though. I don't know anything about makeup, but you got to be able to talk to them and see and impress on them what their job is and how it's going to relate, and if they're the right people or not. It's just sometimes it's a gamble.
Yeah.
Well, when I ran the day show last year, was our first go round for our kids show. I had to impress upon everybody from start to finish that we had everybody was in this show, first run show, from start to finish. The impression that they gave to our customers coming in needed to be that of fun, wholesome show.
We had security guards out there doing a Congo with the customers.
Security got involved with our dances along with while they were doing their job. I mean, it was a fun atmosphere, and that was what we wanted to portray. So it was, a different atmosphere than what we do in the evening. The evening about scary, and we shifted that for our daytime event. But that was kind of what we had to, portray from start to finish, from the parking crew to security crew to the makeup crew, our face painters, everybody. Kind of went into this.
Made a tight group there. That was pretty good.
It was this this whole bubble of everybody was. If a customer was having a hard time, it didn't matter if you were security. It didn't matter if you were
the ATV guy,
the scary ATV guy. You helped them. Your job was to go up and say, "Ma'am, how can I help you? What can I do to help this situation to make it better?" So everybody was kind of in that mindset. So that's kind of what we did, to kind of make it work.
Yeah. And that's going to come down to it really comes down to your leadership, your management. It comes down to the people in charge, because the people that set your haunt narrative that, yes, we are all crucial pieces, is your leadership. Mm-hmm. And acknowledgement is free. Acknowledgement takes I don't have to go out and buy big screen TVs. I don't have to do raffle tickets. I don't have to figure out how to bonus people. I can acknowledge people every opportunity I get as a leader. And that builds that idea that parking knows that parking is critical. Security knows that security is critical. Actors know that actors are critical. There's no part of our haunted attraction that isn't critical. If you were to take it out of the equation, our show is going to suffer horrifically.
Yep.
Like, suddenly no one's parking. Suddenly I have no one doing security checks. Like, that's unheard of. Suddenly I have no actors. I have no event staff. I have no ticket sellers. I have nobody selling merch. Every part is so crucial to the overall experience. And it's okay to have that narrative. Yes, my actors are incredibly important for the customers in the haunt. But you know who's also equally important? The event staff out at the beer garden. They are just as important, because they are keeping the peace and they are keeping customers happy and taking care of things. So having a fair, equal narrative is okay, because everybody is crucial. Everybody is crucial. So moving on here. So I do have to bring up one of our great supporters. And since I mentioned the beer garden and everything, I'm going to bring this one up. But wristband.com. Our friends over at wristband.com have been a supporter of the Haunted Attraction Association for quite some time, and they offer a wide variety of different items that can meet all of your haunt needs. When it comes to wristbands, I love, and you can see them in the picture here, the wristband with the pull tabs. That is the coolest thing, period. The pull tab wristband is one of the coolest ways to add upsells. Very, very, very useful if you're doing like get a t-shirt type of situations or buy this, get that type of situations. Also different attractions. You want to have a little pull tab for each attraction. Very easy, very basic, but you get the job done every time. And of course, if you mention the Haunted Attraction Association when you're doing business with them, they will always take good care of you. So reach out to Bonnie over at wristband.com, www.wristband.com. Got to do the pitches. Our vendor members, of course, are some of our strongest proponents. They take care of us wonderfully, so we try to take care of them. If you are a vendor member and would like us to mention you during the mixer, you just got to hit us up by email, send us some digital photo or an ad, and we'll put it up for you. We'd love to talk about our vendors. So we got a few minutes left here. I want to kind of bring it all together with just kind of opening it up to you guys. If anybody's watching and has some questions, please fire off. But what do you guys feel, just personally, down to a personal level? And I'll ask all three of you in order. What is your golden goose? What is your, I know that this is what I have to do to get the best possible new hire? What are you putting on the table when you go to the table to interview somebody? What is your go-to?
I was going to say, who's going to go first?
I'm going to go Mike. Okay, we're going to go in order because my screen, it's Mike and then Ty and then Kim. So we're going to go Mike, Ty, Kim.
Really, honestly, for me to do everything I can to live up to the culture that we are wanting to create, that we've created, and that I do my part, that when people come here, what they've heard about us is true. When they hear about how we take care of people, when they hear about what a fun place it is to work at, I want to embody that for them. So when I talk to those people, when they come for the first time, whether they're at auditions or they come to training, they come to everywhere else, I'm going to put my best self forward. And they're not going to see me having a bad day. They're not going to see me jumping down anyone's throat, because I don't do that. What I can put forward is living that culture, and for them to see that.
Cool. Excellent. Ty?
A lot what he said, just being personable. So when I go to that interview process, I try to clear everything off my head and everything like that. And I want to be totally focused on seeing the questions that they're asking me and I'm asking them, and having that interpersonal relationship between me and the interviewee, and going from there. I think that's key right there. What about you, Vic?
They will know who I am. They will know how to find me. They will know every way that they can get in touch with me at any point if they have a question. And they will always know that my door is open, and they'll know exactly where to find the candy dish in my office.
That candy dish gets robbed all the time.
It'll always be full.
And I mean, if I can throw in my cardinal thing is, no matter who I'm interviewing for what, the most important thing in that moment for me is that I allow them to feel safe in the moment. I want them to feel there is no fear, there is no right, there is no wrong. We're just talking. I want them to be at ease, because if I can set that standard where, hey, I'm that easy guy to work for. You know what I mean? If you tell me what's going on, I'm going to listen. I want to set that bar right when they walk through the door, that, hey, that guy with the hat, he's cool. I can go talk to him. If I have an issue, he'll help me. He'll make sure I know who, he's not going to hand me out to dry, and I don't have to be nervous, because communication is everything. And the more we're able to be there for our staff, because you got to remember, when they walk in the door, they don't work for you. The goal is when they walk out, they do. Yeah. So the earlier for me that I can start building that trust relationship of like, no, you give me your best and I will always back you, and that's kind of the relationship that I try to build with everybody. And as soon as I sit down at the table or I stand across the room from them, that's where I am. I'm whatever I can do to make them feel at ease, because I want them natural. I want them comfortable. Some of the best crew I've ever hired could barely speak during their interview. They were so nervous. You know, this big 6'5", 300-pound dude walks in looking like a biker, angry face, because apparently I have an angry face. You know what I mean? It's the eyes. I have very angry eyes.
Well, I always have that military combat stare all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why are you so mad?" I'm like,
10,000 yards. I'm not angry. I was actually thinking about pleasant things just now. But
that's a real quick question on this here. I see somebody asked about background check. Without a doubt, do background checks. Got to 100% protect your hunt. You never know who's applying. Always cool.
Yep. And just to mention, they didn't send us an ad, but because someone asked about background checks, Haunted Attraction Association, HalloweenBackgroundChecks.com, you get a discount as a member. So why not use them?
Offers it too.
Python has them as well. So there are options out there across the board for those background checks. And I think we're going to get to a point where it's basically just something our industry has to do. I feel that we're getting very close to that just being a thing. We have to do background checks.
You don't want to be caught. That's all.
Yep. You don't want to be the headline unless it's a good thing. Scariest haunted house, USA Today.
That do have those issues, and it's not a good thing, and it's hard to overcome those bad negatives.
Stigmas. Yep. So any closing thoughts before we bring this this mixer to a wrap?
Go ahead, Ty.
She's going to Salem tomorrow.
I'm going to Salem tomorrow. Salem, Massachusetts.
Nice. Salem's always wonderful fun. Good. Any final thoughts, Ty, Mike?
I I'll just say if you're a haunt owner out there, just remember how important all those people are that work for you. Because if you didn't have any of them working for you, you wouldn't have a haunt. So just remember how important they are and treat them as such and take care of them.
All right. Well, I want to thank our guests because God knows I love having guests. Mr. Mike Edwards, thank you. Ty, Kim, thank you. I'll be seeing Ty and Kim soon. I'm going to be doing a lot of work up in Scranton this year, so I'm very excited to work closely with them. That's going to be exciting. To everyone else out there, I hope you all stay safe. I hope you have a good hiring period, and we'll catch you back here for next month's monthly mixer, which will probably be on another hard-hitting topic that you need to know right around July. All right, so we'll figure it out when we get there. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night. We appreciate you all. Take care.
Later.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.